Hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Who knows us better than ourselves? That's a trick question. No one does. So then, why don't we listen to our gut more often? Today on rSpace, sometimes doing the right thing takes some guts. Up first, a nearly decade-long lie resurfaces. My, male 30, wifey, female 33, lost our baby. We divorced, and now I'm moving on. Well, my wife, now ex-wife, was 2 months pregnant. When she found out she was pregnant, she asked me to talk and told me that halfway through our relationship as a couple and a year before our marriage, she cheated on me with her best friend, with whom she currently has no communication. Currently, we've been married for 8 years, and she told me that she wanted to confess it because a child was going to be a change in our lives and that she wanted to start it off right in order to be good parents. In her words, it's for having a clean beginning. I obviously asked her the most logical question of all. I asked her if that child was really mine, knowing that if she cheated once, she could have done it more times. For some reason, that made her cry. I was totally angry with her, but I didn't want to hurt her. However, I didn't want to comfort her either. So I left the room and went to another side of the house to think about my action plan. Hours later, I was sitting on the sofa. During those hours, I did not go to see her at any time. I did not want to see her face. I heard her calling me, almost screaming. I approached her and she was in the bathroom, bleeding quite a bit down there. We went to the hospital and apparently she had a miscarriage. According to the doctor, it was not something forced nor product of some medication. Maybe it was an emotional shock, something that already happened to her before. While she was sitting on her stretcher waiting to be discharged, she asked me what I thought about all this. I just said that maybe it was for the best, since a child would make more difficult the divorce. Words that made her cry again. I'm not going to lie, I love her, but at the same time I don't trust her anymore. If she could hide a slip for almost a decade, I don't know what else she could have hidden. Maybe this is just the tip of the iceberg. The only thing that haunts me now is to know if that son was mine or not. According to her, she has been faithful to me since then, and she never spoke or saw any man other than me, which I did not ask her to do, but obviously I also have to question that. Our relationship was quite good, but now I also have to doubt if every good deed she did for me was out of true love or if it was just guilt for cheating on me. Anyway, I'm already planning a divorce. Thank God that son wasn't born, because otherwise everything would have been more complicated. As I said, I love her, but I can't live knowing every action she made for me could be a lie. And also, I'm not forgiving a cheating. Now, I want to clarify one thing. In my country, there's something called divorce by mutual agreement, which is a process that lasts less than a month, which you will not go to any trial, just a signing of papers by both parties. It is made clear that we both want to divorce. The following conditions exist to be able to carry out this type of procedure. 1. Both must agree. 2. That 2 years or more have passed since their marriage. We have been married for 8 years. 3. If there are minor or older children with disabilities, everything related to parental authority, food, tenure, visits, guardianship must be resolved. We do not have children. 4. Not having property in common. We have separate finances. Well, 2 days later, she called me and told me to go to my father-in-law's house, where she is, since her father picked her up from the hospital that night, to talk. I went with the papers that my lawyer had given me and that she had to sign in case I could convince her. I arrived. She was with her father, a 70-year-old man. She has not been related to her mother or siblings since she started university because her parents are separated and she was the only one who wanted to stay with her father. So he is the only one with her. We talked about everything that happened, and after a few hours, she ended up signing all the papers. She asked me if I hated her. I told her that I don't feel the same love for her, but that I felt respect for her courage to confess something that she could have kept for her. I wished her good luck and told her to recover, that I love her, but that I can't trust her anymore, and that the healthiest thing is for each one to get ahead on their own. We gave each other one last hug and kiss, and I told her I would take care of everything and that if I needed anything, I would let her know. Now I just have to take the papers to be legalized by a notary and then take it to the civil registries for the registration of the divorce in the civil registry. Although I'm happy that this was solved the easy way, I still have a pain in my chest from everything that happened. I'll start therapy next week and I'll get through it, I guess. For those who wonder why I didn't consent to this infidelity even though it was almost a decade ago, I grew up in a family where both parents were unfaithful to each other and forgave each other. I ended up leaving that house as soon as I could because the discussions taking everything past in the face were an everyday thing. I don't want to go through the same thing or make my future children have to hear the same thing that I heard. Now a week has passed. I have gone to a psychologist and I feel that I am improving. The truth is that I am very hopeful about the future, but I feel that I will have to be more careful in my next relationship. But at the same time, I do not want to mistrust my new partner. The truth is that this is very difficult, but I just have to move on. Ah, yes. I already presented the notarized and signed divorce papers to public records. My status should change to divorced in less than 2 weeks. I don't know how my ex-wife is doing. I haven't called her, but at least she has her dad to support her. Let's get a couple quick comments. First one says, to be honest, if I found out my wife cheated on me 10 years ago, I would divorce her as well. Good luck with your new life. The next person chimes in, she knew what would happen if she told you, but could not live with the guilt anymore, and telling you ruined her marriage. This is what happens. With cheating, the guilt eats away at you over time. You are both better off and can start again, hopefully, this time without cheating. Honestly, OP, if you had an inkling that it wasn't the first time she cheated on you, then you have to trust your gut. Unfortunately, something like this has to happen in order for you to leave. Maybe it was some sort of divine intervention, but whatever the case, you found out the kind of person that your ex truly was, and you respect yourself enough to leave. And for her to keep a secret like this for so long, I mean, what else was she hiding from you? What else would have come to the surface after potentially having the child? Maybe it's a good thing you didn't find out, OP. What do you think? Would you have stayed? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, a family friend turned family foe. Girlfriend cheated after engagement ring shopping. Hey all, so this story happened about a year ago at this point. For context, my girlfriend at the time, 24 female, and myself, 26 male, had been together for about 3 years. The question of marriage began popping up, especially with other friends of ours getting engaged and married and having children. It was just that point in our lives. She was the love of my life, my first love. I would have done anything for her. So when she started dropping hints, I decided to move forward and figure out what type of engagement ring she would want. After work one day, we headed to the jewelry store and found the perfect ring. I was planning on coming back in a month or two to purchase it once I had saved up some money. It wasn't overly expensive, but would have nearly wiped out my savings. A few days later was the weekend. One of my friends, Dex, invited both of us over to watch a UFC fight on Saturday. For context, Dex is about 18 years older than me, but has been a family friend for a long time. I thought he was the coolest guy in the world when I was a kid. Definitely someone I looked up to. So now being an adult and being friends with him is a childhood dream. Anyway, normally I would have the weekend available to do whatever. But I had a side job and my client needed me to film some property in a different city early in the morning on Sunday. I decided to head up Saturday night so that I didn't have to be on the road at 5 a.m. on Sunday. I told Dex I couldn't make it, but my girlfriend could go. They were friends too. I trusted her and I trusted him. Couldn't imagine either of them ever doing something to hurt me. So she goes to his house to watch the fight. Around 11, I went to bed and texted her that I love her and I'll see her tomorrow. She replies in her usual bubbly manner and tells me she loves me too. Sunday morning rolls around and I text her good morning. She responds, but not in her usual bubbly way. I thought it was odd, but figured she was just hungover or something. I went to work and then called her to let her know I was done and that I'd be home in a couple of hours. She didn't answer. I thought it was odd, but maybe she didn't hear her phone, or she was in the bath or something. I stopped a few miles down the road to get gas, and I tried calling again. Still no answer. This wasn't usual behavior from her, as we talked all day every day. We were best friends. I started getting a bad feeling in my gut. I knew something had happened, and just hoped for the best. I finally made it home after the longest drive of my life. She wasn't home. I called her again, and once again, no answer. I called Dex, assuming she was still at his house. He told me she left after the fight last night and hasn't seen her since. About an hour later, she shows up at home with some groceries. She walks right past me and doesn't say a word. I try saying hi and asking her about why she hasn't responded to me all day. She continues putting her groceries away. A few minutes go by and I'm fuming. Then all I hear from the laundry room is, "I cheated on you." I asked with who, already knowing the answer. She confirmed my suspicion and came out to the living room where I was. She got on her knees and started bawling her eyes out in my lap. This went on for a while, and I had no words. Eventually, I told her I needed to think and asked her to leave. Fast forward 6 months. We broke up. I thought I could move past it. She really seemed genuinely sorry, but I just couldn't trust her anymore. Lesson learned. Don't try to make it work with someone you don't trust. Let's see how the community reacts to this one. First one says, I would definitely drop Dex as a friend. You can't trust him either. He knew that she was in a relationship with you. I would warn your friends as well that they can't trust Dex around their wives, girlfriends, mothers, or sisters. The OP replies, Thank you. I did drop him as a friend. Everyone in my circle knows what happened as well. I've pretty much moved past it at this point, still have plenty of emotion around the topic, and thought this may be a good way to vent. The next comment says, So just to understand this completely, this Dex dude has been a family friend since you were about 8 years old. Sounds like he's a friend of your parents. And I sure hope your dad wasn't as trusting with his wife around him. Ultimately, you have to do what you have to do. And like the previous OP, you trusted your gut. I think it's important to listen to ourselves. It goes to know we don't actually truly know someone, even if they have been a family friend since you were a child. But think of it this way. You lost 2 disloyal people from your life, but you kept that savings of yours. Thankfully, you didn't blow it all on someone who prefers family friends. I guess this is a good lesson for anybody thinking about breaking the bank on a rock for someone who will throw it all away over a weekend. Do you have a similar story? Share it with us in the comments below. Next up, a mother ruins a happy home. My mother is cheating on my father and I don't know what to do. I thought maybe posting here would be helpful. So the setup is, my 21 mother, 41, is cheating on my father, 51, and I'm the only one who knows of it. I had my suspicions like a year ago because she would be calling people a lot and she would speak to them in English. We are a foreign family and most of the time she uses her native language when she talks to the family and her friends. And every time I would enter her room while she was talking or texting, she would hide her phone. But these were only suspicions. There was no real evidence. Until one day, she told me to book a hotel for her and her girlfriends. And while showing me the hotel in a text chat, she tried to hide the name of the person who sent the hotel. I managed to peek the name, a male name. He sent her a link to a hotel with a message. "Let's stay at this one." When I saw it, my whole world crumbled. We are all a very religious family, so thinking that is a possibility is out of this world for me. Not only that, she is using me, her child, to book this trip. I did not know what to do, so I played along and tried to look normal. Some days went by, and she went out with her friends. A day before the trip, she came home at like 4 a.m., and when she did, I was awake. I heard her go to the bathroom and leaving it. Betting everything on this, I went to the bathroom and locked the door, and as I thought, she left her phone behind. I guessed the passcode, my birth year, and searched for evidence. And then I found the chat with the man. I couldn't believe my eyes. They were texting like a couple in their honeymoon phase, and she called my father, her husband, and uncle, and that's why he couldn't come up. Not only that, she didn't go out with friends, she went out with him. I couldn't believe it, and before I could send the evidence to my phone, she knocked at the door. I opened it and gave her my phone. A couple of hours later, she went to her vacation with him and I am just devastated. What should I do? My father is the purest soul on this earth. He kills himself at work so we can have a good life, and he wears always the nicest smile on his face. He never touched us kids, let alone my mother. Should I tell him? What about my sister? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Update 1. Well, after some time, I decided to confront my mother alone. I wanted to see how she would react. I thought if she would be remorseful, I could be supervising her electronics and my father wouldn't be hurt. But the exact opposite happened. My mother and sister were going out to eat something, and when they came back, I told my sister to get out of the car. I told my mother, I effed up, and could we go someplace? She only drove like a couple feet before she got suspicious and irritated. I told her everything, that I know where she went, what she did and with whom, and she denied everything. She got angry and hit me. I got also aggressive and took her hands and screamed at her to say the truth. I couldn't handle it anymore and left, telling her that I would tell my father everything if she would come home. I went home and she came back. I couldn't believe it. The guts to come back. I told my father to come and I laid out everything. My mother denied everything and told me that the college stress was getting to me. She painted the picture that I was crazy and she isn't. When she asked me where my proof is, I told her that everything is on her phone. When I told her to give me her phone, she wouldn't comply. She was getting defensive and saying stuff like, "I am your mother. I would never let my child go through my phone." When I asked her to show it to my dad, she was screaming, "How dare you? My husband believes me without going through my phone." Well, now I'm laying in bed, without evidence, with a father who does not know whom to believe. Only my sister believes me completely. You did the right thing by trying to talk to her first, OP. It was natural for her to get defensive, but I think it was disrespectful of her to think that just because you're her child means that you aren't to be trusted or taken seriously. I'm sorry you have to carry this burden, OP. You saw what you saw, and she has to come to terms with that. Update 2. First of all, thank you very much for your kind words and your support. It made the sleepless night bearable, and I did not feel so alone. Well, my sister called me to the living room, and my mother was sitting there. I sat down and she said, "Okay, let's talk like adults here." She repeated to me her life story and her childhood traumas, And in this moment, I knew I am broken. The woman whom I had so much love for, the one person I would die for, she is crying in front of me, and I couldn't care less. Well, basically, she admitted what she did. Not everything, and she was still reluctant showing her phone. I told her, if you really want to mend this relationship, then you'll have to do 4 things. 1. Confess everything to my father. 2. Apologize to us for destroying us, gaslighting me, and blaming me for everything. 3. Give me your phone. 4. And when you can't promise to yourself that you wouldn't do that again, leave this family alone. Well, she did nothing. Blamed me for everything. Criticized the way I was talking to her. Criticizing how I handled the situation. Telling me she'll never give me her phone. Saying she will never tell my father what happened because she knows that he doesn't want to know. And stuff like that. Truly anticlimactic. I told her off and she screamed at me that it was her fault for trying to reason with me. I didn't record the conversation because I did not think about it. I'm not built for this kind of stuff. I'm a religious man who avoids everything that could lead to negativity. I am truly worn out. I don't have the energy left to deal with this BS. I will stand with my father, but that's it. When I move out, I'll try no contact with my mother. Because mending this, I don't see any possibility of it happening. Again, thank you very much to everyone. You truly uplifted me in this time. And yeah, I'll keep you updated if something happens. Edit. While my father and my sister had a call, he told her that I was lying because of university stress and my upcoming engagement. My sister tried to defend me, but apparently he had to continue working and hung up on her. Last update. Well, some time passed. I thought maybe my father believed me, but this wasn't the case. I just want to end this story quick for everyone. On Friday, my parents wanted to have a big talk with us. The result was that I was kicked out for not apologizing to my mother that I lied. The day after that, my mother called me home to settle things privately, but not cooperating again and not apologizing, she also kicked me out and took away my keys. I am now currently staying at a friend's. If one of your parents cheated on the other and you do not have any proof to back up your claims, for your own sake, stay quiet about it. You're just destroying your own life. Trust me. Let's get a couple quick comments from the community. First, this is unbelievable. Now it does not feel this way, but you should be proud of what you've done. You did the right thing. Later, when the truth comes out, your father, and maybe your mother also, will apologize to you. Keep your head high and proud. I hope you'll find a new home with people who truly love you. Another person chimes in, I'm sorry to hear that, but for your mother to actually watch you leave a house because she knows she is a cheater is truly despicable. When the truth shows and is revealed, you should expect your father to truly apologize to you. I suggest you think about capturing that proof. Perhaps your friend may help. The comments are right here, OP. You did the right thing, and at the very least, you've planted an idea in your father's head and he can come to his own conclusions. You should be proud of yourself. And like the comments said, once your father finds out, I think you'll hear the apology that you were looking for. Would you have confronted your parents? Have you had to do that before? Let us know below. Thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time.